Hey guys, how are you all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin evening update. So we will go straight over to those charts. So we had a bit of a sell-off in the stock market. I know obviously we've had this little bit of a move down in Bitcoin, but if we want to look at it on a four hour time frame, all we've done at the moment, as it stands at the moment, and obviously that could change. But at the moment we've just got a higher low relative to this low and this low here. So we had that pennant that we broke out of. So I'm just going to actually borrow these lines now. Yeah, we're unlocked here. Just going to borrow these lines and see if we can make a sort of channel that we're potentially in, a rising channel. So rising channels, obviously they can be bearish and break out to the bottom side, and we are currently testing that bottom side. But also I did want to point out that we did talk about this, and I don't know if it was this morning's video or yesterday, like either 2 videos ago. We were talking about how I was looking at, if we got up to here, this was going to be a formidable resistance because we have the channel trend line, and also that box of box as resistance. And then I was saying, as we come down to test this, after we break up, as this channel trend line, top of the channel line comes down, and it coincides with this box of support at 9,200, it will then become pretty considerable support, and harder to break than usual, in much the same way I was saying this would be. But we never got up there to test that theory. I guess we did test that theory here. Look, you can see we had the move up, and then because we hit that trend line and that box, we didn't really have much of a chance of getting above it. I guess that the tested at the bottom when we got the channel line and this horizontal, we kind of didn't really spend much time below that. And I mean, obviously we hadn't really formed the channel at this point, so we can't, you have to have 2 points to make a channel, so we never knew that was the point that it was going to be to form that channel, so we can't really look at that one. But either way, you can see when you have the confluence of the channel and an either support or resistance horizontal level, that we do have a better than average chance of getting supported there. So this is obviously pretty important. And what I would say is that in relation to the move that we've had down in stocks, if I show you this on like an hour time frame, this is quite a considerable move down in stock markets. Incidentally, I mean, it's even come off a 1 hour 9. So you could definitely have timed this. You've got, if we go over to the daily, we were on a daily 9, as you can see here. We were on a 12 hour 9. I don't know about the 4 hour, but yeah, we were on a 4 hour 9, and then we got all the way down to a 1 hour 9, and lo and behold, with all those TDs lining up, yeah, then we just had a massive sell-off. And if I look at these 30 and 15 minute and see that we've sold off from a 30 or 50 minute 9, yeah, well, I'm just going to be a bit shocked. No, the 15-minute 9 was there, but again, that 30-minute 9 was there, but again, that never would have triggered a trade because we didn't trade below it, so that's nothing we need to really worry about there. And the 15-minute is the one that I suspect may have a 9. Yeah, not really. I had it there, but I guess when we traded below. But yeah, anyway, I would never zero down to those time frames, and like an hour would be the minimum. With obviously 2 hours usually being the minimum. But yeah, you can see the 1 hour 9. Anyway, I'm getting a bit sidetracked here. But yeah, TD9s are powerful things, as you can see. Yeah, as you can see. But the reason we looked at this is that we've had a pretty significant sell-off here. Also, incidentally, let me just show you where this horizontal line has been drawn, and this horizontal line was drawn from it would be a 4 hour 9 because I wouldn't have drawn it for anything else. Yeah, the 4 hour 9, so this level, this support level, this 4 hour line, breaking that level was the support that this 9, how I trade the TD, I will draw horizontals from these levels, and you can see to the absolute tick of where I drew this line. This line's been drawn in for a while. I haven't just drawn this in today. This line was drawn in to line up with exactly the bottom of this 9 candle here, and you can see where we've reached on this 9 candle, on this 4 hour 9 candle. We've reached literally with the exact level, the exact same level. So It's voodoo stuff, these 4-hour 9s, and these are the ways that I trade these 4-hour 9s as well. A lot of these horizontals look like they're in pretty arbitrary places. Like, you might look at this and think, well, what's that horizontal there for? It's not really lining up with much. This horizontal clearly was lining up with something, but it was lining up with this 9 also. But you kind of look at these, some of the horizontals I'll draw on charts won't really be immediately apparent as to where they've come from, especially if I, like, say, click over to a 12-hour chart and you're going to look at that horizontal and say it's just nowhere. Well, why is it there? It's like it doesn't correspond with anything, but it does correspond with something, and it clearly did correspond with something there as well. Obviously this candle's not closed, so we could end up somewhere else, but I mean, it is going to close in, am I even going to get a tick on this? Is this market? Oh yeah, sorry, this market's shut for the day now, that's why we're not counting down. Yeah, so yeah, something to look at. Right, I've gone on way too long. My point was we had a big sell-off in stock markets, and we haven't, as of yet, it could happen, had a correspondingly large move in Bitcoin down. And as you guys may have realized over the past, basically this whole period of time, stock markets have been working their way up. Bitcoin has been moving up gradually when stock markets are moving up, and then when stock markets have their sell-off, Bitcoin has been coming down. But Bitcoin has been selling off more than the stock market in relative terms, and then has been rallying less in relative terms than the stock market. So this is the first time that I'm seeing and I'm noticing that that is maybe looking like it's going to reverse. Trends are always your friend until the end, and all trends do come to an end eventually. All trends do come to an end, and maybe this trend is coming to an end. It may just be this very strong level of support. I believe this is a stronger than average level of support. This may be that, and also you've got to think that this trend of weaker BTCs been going on for a while, and it will reverse. It will start to become BTC will rally when stock markets rally, then not do a lot when stock markets come down. That has been a trend we've had in Bitcoin a lot before, that I've definitely seen. So yeah, those trends change. Maybe we are now going to transition into a period of relative BTC strength. I mean, it can only go down so far in relation. If you want to compare it to, let's look at something else that's had a similar thing. The gold-silver ratio. This is the gold-silver ratio. Right, let's get it back up again. Here we go. Right, so this had a very, what are we on, a 4-hour? Let's go to a daily. This had a very strong rally, basically. And what that rally implies is that the value of gold is going up basically more than in relation to the value of silver. So every ounce of gold buys you more ounces of silver. So before this all kicked off, 1 ounce of gold would buy you about 88 ounces of silver. And then at the top, 1 ounce of gold would buy you about 126, 27 ounces of silver. So 1 gold ounce coin, you'd have to have 126. So this ratio, this obviously was, the trend was your friend. So if you were watching these charts, what you would have is when gold goes up, silver doesn't really go up. And then when gold goes down, silver gets hammered. And that happened all up until that point. And then we started to see the opposite. The ratio came down. And now you're only getting 94 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. So what happened was that ratio changed, and as you can see, that ratio changed, and as you can see, it's actually made me think I maybe will see if I can get the chart on TradingView. I'll maybe use the Nasdaq and Bitcoin, and then we'll get a chart like this up that we can look at, so we can watch the trends in the relative thing, and that might be a useful tool actually. I mean, I do have it in my mind. I watch the markets, and I watch the stock markets, and I watch the bond markets, I watch all the markets, but I kind of have it in my mind. It's just something, it's just like when you've looked at markets and traded for so long, it's like you're subconsciously aware of what is happening, things that are relatively weak and strong, without seeing a chart like this to tell me that it is. But anyway, it would be nice to have a chart so I can quantify it and obviously show you guys. That is a chart for basically the Nasdaq Bitcoin ratio, or the Bitcoin Nasdaq, whichever way we do it. Anyway, yeah, I've had to digress. Anyway, again, so what I'm saying is trends will go for a certain amount of time, and then they'll change, and then maybe this trend will change in the other direction and then start going back up again. But these trends in relative strengths between assets will change. So that is my point. And are we seeing the start of this change in the relative strengths between these two assets? I think we may well be. Obviously, the higher it goes up, the better value it then becomes, selling your gold and buying silver. So then obviously that helps the silver go up compared to the gold, because then to take advantage of that, you sell your gold and buy your silver, and that obviously forces the gold down relative to the silver. So maybe people, I don't necessarily think that it's the same dynamic, because they are two obviously established precious metals and a ratio that is widely looked at. People don't necessarily trade between Bitcoin and the Nasdaq, so it won't be that same dynamic drawing, basically. That same dynamic that will be in play. What I suspect the dynamic that is in play will be is that the bears were trying to basically get us down. The Bitcoin bears, I call them Bitcoin bears, but I think the Bitcoin whales probably more appropriate, because I don't really believe there are many people trading in Bitcoin that are here just to try and sell Bitcoin down to zero and mess it up, because you just got to look at the long-term charts and see that that's a difficult task. But yeah, the whales that want to push Bitcoin down to trigger stops to fill orders down here, I feel like they may be giving up on that, or some of them may be giving up, and once they do that, then maybe that's where the relative weakness in Bitcoin was coming from. So as you can see, they are getting a long way. We seem to be getting supported and moving up at 9,200. We're threatening to take out the top of this channel, which could trigger a big move up. We're threatening to get close to making a new higher high as opposed to all these lower highs. So if I was a Bitcoin whale thinking, right, I can squeeze us down to 8,600 and hit all the stops, then yeah, I would not be so confident of doing that. And now, especially, what I can see happening with this sharp sell-off in the stock market that hasn't really resulted in much of a sell-off in Bitcoin at all. I mean, let's face it, we're down about $50, aren't we, from what the average price we were trading for a lot of today. If we go to we'll go to a 30-minute chart for today. So if you look at today, a lot of the average price action was around this level here, which is I mean, we'll just call it 9,310, and at the moment we're at 245, but we'll just call it 9,240. So that's $70. So we had that massive sell-off in the stock market, and that is a massive sell-off for stocks, and Bitcoin is down $70. A $70 move in Bitcoin, as you are all fully aware, is nothing. But if you want to look at what this percentage move in the Nasdaq was today, it was from the high to the low. Wow, yeah, 8.5%. That's a massive move, guys. That's a massive move. I mean, right, you can just see that is the largest red or green that's the largest candle of any color for, well, I mean, is that one as big? Is that one's definitely as big. Maybe this one, that one's definitely bigger. So yeah, I mean, we are realistically talking, since our actual lows, we haven't seen candles of this sort of magnitude. So if you're having a candle, the biggest move down in the Nasdaq that we've seen in one candle, since basically the absolute bottom of the sell-off, and we get a $70 move down in Bitcoin, a $70 move. It's not even a move down. Let's face it, it's not even a move down. And that is not to say Bitcoin can't all of a sudden just drop out of bed and start to go down. But if we are going to change that dynamic of Bitcoin not being relatively stronger as opposed to relatively weaker, all we'll see is that the stock market will eventually start to move up again. I mean, we all know we all know the inevitable, don't we? We all know it's going up. So it's going up at least to November. So what could happen when that starts to go up again? Then we really could see some big movement in Bitcoin, and also that movement in Bitcoin could also be triggered by the fact that there's going to be a lot of people that have seen this relative weakness in Bitcoin and been absolutely smashed. I'm in quite a hefty long position that I've been working in and out of parts of for the past few days, basically buying around the 9,200 level and then trimming that position on rallies and wicks up. I was seriously considering just hitting the sell button for my position when I was just seeing stock markets dump and Bitcoin had rallied up back up again to about 9,230. I was just thinking, is this just a gift? Do I need to sell? I'm part looking at the price now thinking this is a gift, but it's different now because the stock market did close off their lows. The futures, I think the futures are basically paused. They paused for a bit after the market closed, but yeah, so we are off the lows now, so I'm not as concerned. But yeah, I was considering hitting the button based on what I know about the relative strength, thinking this is a gift to be able to get out of this level while stocks were still on the lows and going lower. But yeah, so what could happen now? These stock markets could recover even like if base, right, okay, I'll put it simple for you. If the Nasdaq, if this Nasdaq if recovers half of this loss, so let's say gets to just this level again. If it gets around to this level, which is let's call it 10,800, we're only talking $200, half of this distance. Is that even half the distance? Basically 11,000 down to basically yeah, it's $500. So yeah, about $850, and yeah, so here, so if we get back halfway, 10,850 in the Nasdaq, I would expect Bitcoin to be basically above these highs. I'd expect it to be above these highs, testing the top of this channel. But obviously that's obviously got to happen first. It's not necessarily gonna happen. This could just be the first leg down of a more sustained sell-off. Obviously in the Nasdaq, in basically the Nasdaq, we can see, if we go back to the daily, we've got this nice channel that we are basically back in. So we could easily be seeing a move to the bottom of this channel. This bottom of the channel is a moving target though, so if we come straight down tomorrow, another big 8% candle, yeah, we're going to be at the bottom tomorrow, and in which case Bitcoin will very likely not be able to hold anything like the levels as at now. But if we trade sideways and just come and hit this channel down here, and then yeah, and if we do it like in some sideways price action, maybe rally to about the half point, maybe back test the top of the trend line, which is very possible, which is the midpoint, and then sort of test back down to where we were, to drift a bit sideways and eventually tag the bottom of the trend line there, then I mean we're not even looking at a move down relative to where we are now, are we? It's the same level. So yeah, that's the thing with these channels. They are moving target. They're moving targets basically. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. So I've talked about a lot of other markets at the moment, but they're all it's all to explain certain trading principles that are just relevant to the market right now. Just things that I am looking at in the market that maybe other people don't really consider because they just don't have an extensive like what, I don't even know what the word is, repertoire of tools that you basically I've built up over the years, just in my mind. They're not necessarily things I've looked at or taught. They're literally just pure observational things that I've learned over time. And yeah, and then I kind of know how to look into the charts then to see them actually quantified. But yeah, these are just things that you just learn over time. But yeah, so yeah, maybe this relative strength is going to change. Maybe the Nasdaq is going to just trade sideways. Maybe we are going to, yeah, maybe we're going to see the move up. So, but either way, I mean, the reason why I'm taking big long positions at this 9,200 and scalping this range is because this is just, to me, is a big level of support, and I think it's a good risk reward trade to be buying here with obviously stops. My stops are beta. I mean, doesn't matter. I'm not a massive trader. People don't like saying their stops because then you get stop hunters come and try and hit your stops, but I'm clearly not a target for any big stop hunters. But yeah, my stops are literally just above 9,100, so I'm giving myself all this leeway. I may get caught on a scam wick. If I do, so be it. That's Bitcoin. That's just the risk you take. That's where my stop is. That's where my risk is managed from. But yeah, but I am expecting moves, and I have been taking profits on spikes up basically in this range, and then been adding back again around 9,200. So I mean, I'm happy to take trades here because I think this is a very very clear defined level of support and a very clear level to manage risk from, and that trading is risk and reward. Trading isn't about being right most of the time. Trading is about just finding higher reward, lower risk setups, so where you can potentially get a big gain and your risk is small. And if you are able to identify those setups and you keep taking those trades, it doesn't matter. I mean, you will go on runs where you do lose money and you lose basically, like, say you're trading like 3-to-1 risk reward, you can still lose 4 or 5 in a row. And then just be like, this is awful, what is going on? But eventually you will then go on a run where you win 2 in a row, and then that's obviously going to literally win you 5. If you're trading a 3-to-1 ratio, 5 of them is going to lose you, say, 5x, but winning 2 is going to win you 6x. 6 of whatever x is, so you're going to be back in profit from just winning 2 in a row. So that's how you trade. You just look for high risk. I keep saying high risk, high profit, lower risk. Basically, the ratio. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. You got to look for those trades and then just keep taking those trades. But the key is being able to identify those trades, and that's where you use your technical analysis basically to identify levels that you can manage risk from. That's the hardest, one of the harder parts, and I don't even know if it's the harder part, but one of the most important things when it comes to trading is identifying where your stop loss is going to be. And then once you know where your stop loss is going to be, you can then look to where then a reasonable take profit would be, and then you can then look to like what position size you can take, or whether it's even a good risk reward trade to take. So yeah, so anyway, I definitely waffled on a lot about that. We are going to have a look at the Stokes, see how they are holding in. I can see the 4 hour is already turning, if it even wants to show us. The 4 hour, yeah, 4 hours already turning. It's stuttering. Just ignore this trend line. It's nothing to do with the 4 hour. But yeah, it is still in the bullish control area, the bullish zone, the bullish top half of this area. So, but we are basically faltering here. I mean, we could easily just turn back up from here. It just depends where price action is going to go. If we go back up to 9,300, this is clearly going to start moving up again. 8 hour Stokes are turning back up quite nicely now. They've had a little bit of a reset. They're now turning back up, so that's obviously a good sign. 12 hour Stokes are coming down. They did almost turn back up when we were looking this morning, have subsequently turned down. So they're showing we are at basically the tipping point. So if we do get a push back up to 9,300, these will obviously turn back up again. But again, we're at this trend line again. We are basically, this is what the trend line's for, the 12 hour. We are basically messing around with this trend line. So yeah, looking to get supported by it. Daily still moving up, but it's getting dicey for the daily. It could turn back down if we don't make a push back up. And then obviously we know our weekly and our 3-day. Our 3-day has not actually turned up now. Not turned up yet. So yeah, we're still waiting for that one to fully confirm, but it is looking like it will turn up. It will take a lot to stop the 3-day turning up at this point. Been a larger time frame, stochastic. But yeah, so we can see here's the 3-day 9 here. It was a 9. We started to move up off it. Obviously, when you get moves of 3-day candles, you're looking for big moves. So yeah, I mean that is one of the trifecta of bullish arguments that I've got. The 3 drives of hidden bullish divergence on the RSI. This TD9, and there was one other. But I forgot. Oh yeah, the 3-day Stokes turning up. That was it. The 3-day Stokes. So yeah, so we've covered a lot in this video. Hope this video has been helpful for you guys. But yeah, short-term price range. I mean, price-wise, we just need to look at. I mean, not only now do we have this trend line, not only now do we have this horizontal support, the top of this trend line, we now have this trend line looking like we're putting in as well. And to be honest, it extends down to here, doesn't it? But it is a trend line that does extend down to here, because you can just kind of see it. I didn't really notice that, but and even down to here. Is this a trend line governing everything? We don't need this anymore. We obviously know what happened there. If I can delete this, and yeah, I mean, I might as well extend this down to about here. Yeah, we'll keep this top part in here. But yeah, so I mean, all that does is show that this trend line is even more important than previously. We previously had it, which is good, because that means that, well, it's just a stronger support. But obviously the downside to it being a stronger support is if you break a stronger support, you're going to have a bigger move down. So yeah, we've got the top of this trend line, we've got this is you can see all this confluence is whether I'm right or wrong on my trade, I know where my stop is, but I just think this has every opportunity to bounce the price. And yeah, so that's why I'm taking trades here. So anyway, so there you go, guys. So yeah, this is all we've got to really look at. Basically breaking below and trading below and holding below 9,200 in a larger time frame candle. I mean, definitely closing under there. I mean, that will break this trend line, that will break this support line, that will get us back in the channel. Yeah, everything will be looking bearish. This now is the time. This is why I'm thinking the relative strength is changing, because this is the time the bears could literally grab this market and just slam it down. They had every opportunity to do it, and they may still do it. I'm just saying they haven't done it already when they had every opportunity with some serious downside momentum in the stock market. So all I will say is when we had that sell-off, the dollar didn't really strengthen much. I mean, that in a way kind of tells me that obviously the currency markets, the dollar is more important. We didn't see it as a relative big move down in the bond market either. So obviously the bond market and the currency markets are probably a bit more rational than the Nasdaq. And the Nasdaq obviously has a lot of Tesla in it that has been going on an absolute moonshot, and that has had a big retrace today. Tesla's had a big move down. So yeah, so realistically realistically is a lot of the move down in the Nasdaq just a bit of fluff off the top. Currency markets and bond markets are telling us that, and even the Bitcoin market is telling us that, because it's not basically reacting as negatively as it could be. So and one second, I'll just show you Tesla. I'll just show you Tesla's move today. Oh, where is it? I literally just had it and it is now just gone. There it is. I put it up there with Nikola. So we've got Nikola Tesla. Maybe I should put Nikola above. But yeah, so you can see this is a high range candle, the high range daily candle. This is Tesla went from basically $1,800 a share down to less than $1,500 a share. So yeah, this does look a lot like a blow off top, but this also looks a lot like a blow off top, and this 9 candle alone itself looked like a blow off top. I mean, I don't know how many blow off tops I need to look at. If you wanted to short Tesla, if you are brave enough to short Tesla, here's your level. This level is, as you guys know, is a break below that 9 candle, so it will be an important horizontal going forwards. It will remain on my chart. Breaking below there, that will be the level to sell Tesla, and even then you may want it to break through, back test that level, and then that would be the real high probability sell trade in Tesla. Yeah, so but you'd be a brave man to sell this stock, even though we right here have a monthly 9 which we just literally did not care about. We just blasted through it like it just wasn't there. But it's fine though, because we never even traded below it, let alone close the monthly candle below it. Therefore, there was never a trade, so you never got caught in the wrong trade by selling a monthly 9. We also got a weekly 9 here. The last weekly 9 sort of did signal the highest point of the market. This weekly 9 here though, as you can see, never traded below it, never closed below it, never did anything below it on a weekly time scale, so that was not a sell. So no drama there. And yeah, you can see basically we literally hit my target. This arrow has been, if you look at any of my major market updates, this arrow has been drawn on here since obviously whenever I drew this line, and it's like if we break above this all-time high, we are looking at a move probably up to about this high. So yeah, there we go. Right, long video today, covered lots of things guys. So thanks for listening. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I will catch you guys in the morning.